Ubisoft and accessibility have gone hand in hand these days. In each of their franchises, they have created standards the industry is starting to follow. But what does accessibility look like in a series like Prince of Persia that's almost as old as video games themselves? Let's find out. I'm Steve Saylor, I'm blind, and I play video games. If you want to know what it is I can see and how I play games, check out the video here or click the link in the description down below. While you're there, click the like and subscribe buttons to help continue to grow this channel. Also, if you're inclined, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/SteveSaylor so you can help support me financially in the work that I do. Now, I remember growing up playing the first Prince of Persia on my cousin's computer and thinking that I had no idea why I was playing a prince jumping across dangerous spikes that could kill me, but I had fun with it anyway. Sadly, I never played the series reboot with Sands of Time. I don't remember why. I think it might have been because I knew I wouldn't be great at the platforming, so I didn't bother. However, when we got the surprise announcement last year about Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, I knew the time was right when I could finally play a Prince of Persia game, but with the modern accessible game design Ubisoft is known for. Now, while it's not the perfect fully accessible game for some disabled players, there are new innovations that are highlight worthy and can be seen as new standards for accessibility in the industry. I'll go through what the game plays like and areas of accessibility I'll highlight, but if you're looking for a full list of accessibility features, Ubisoft has a list of what's available. I'll link to it in the description down below. Sadly, this game doesn't offer menu narration or a native screen reader for blind players. It also doesn't have navigational assistance, at least in a navigatable way without sighted assistance. What makes it easier than other games is that this game is completely in a 2D plane, so you can only go left or right. The map has two modes available. One is an exploration mode where no waypoints or icons are displayed, like in the original Metroidvania style. You have to know where each area is so you want to be able to go. But there is also a mode with permanent mission waypoints and icons for points of interest that can be useful for blind players. There are large icons with a legend, as you always know what they are, but there is also a sound effect each time your cursor hovers near one. It's not ideal navigational assistance, but with all of those features I just mentioned, it does offer some help, but probably with still some sighted assistance. For those on the lower vision side of the blindness spectrum, there is the ability to also increase the HUD size to fit your needs, as well as a high contrast mode, which is actually a first time that Ubisoft has implemented this feature that isn't just related to just UI. You can set 3 different presets with different color schemes, as well as the ability to turn on or off a desaturated background if you prefer. All the footage of the game I am showing you in the video is the high contrast mode in action, which I really like and I personally recommend. I would have maybe liked the ability to adjust the individual colors instead of just the 3 presets available, but for a first attempt at this, Ubisoft has already done 85% of what's currently available in comparison to games that have already been working with high contrast modes in their games for a while. It has helped me out a ton, especially in the hard boss fights, which I will get to in a minute. For deaf and hard of hearing players, there are subtitle options. Also, all main story dialogue is in the style of interactive novels where the artwork of the character appears along with a dialogue box that pops up. Think of like Hades as an example. But sadly, there is no visualization of sound effects, at least that I could be able to tell if an enemy is nearby. There's even one large enemy in one section of the map you have to keep an ear out for, because you can't really take them on head on, and if they catch you, you're transported to another area of the map. You can hear them when you enter large areas of the map, and when they do appear on screen, there is a bubble that surrounds them to let you know not to get too close to them, otherwise they will spot you. But if you don't hear the sound effect of them growling in the room that you enter, you may stumble upon them without any warning and without any way to be able to dodge away from them before they catch you. For motor disabled players, you can remap the controls, even ones that within the story you don't know the function of them as of yet. They just label them as unknown ability in the settings menu. This can have some negative effects, as motor disabled players may need to change their remapping preferences multiple times once a new ability is unlocked after they have already gotten used to a control scheme that works for them. But if you're familiar with fighting games and their style of combat, it pretty much has the same type of combat with its combos, parries, and dodges. So if you are a motor disabled player and like fighting games, this may be worth a try. There is another way that motor disabled players, as well as other disabled players, can adjust their experience for areas that remapping or other settings don't account for, and that's the ability to adjust the difficulty of the game. The game comes with several difficulty options, but it provides the ability to create a custom setting to adjust enemy and player health, and adjust the parry timings from easy, normal, and hard, and even the dodge windows from normal to long, so a player can have a bit more time to land a parry or a dodge. It's honestly a pretty robust set of customizations to adjust the difficulty, more than I expected actually. I found the normal warrior quote-unquote difficulty to be really difficult for me personally. Mostly has to do with the timing of attacks and my dodges. If you have watched my videos before, you know that is a common thing with my disability. However, this game was harder to play for me than other games that I've played with adjustable custom difficulties, especially for the bosses. I constantly would die in this game because of missed parry timings or missed dodges from heavy unparryable attacks. But after adjusting the parry and dodge timing, I was able to defeat the bosses I've encountered so far, and I just wish we had more granular control over those windows. But honestly, what is available in the game is playable for me, and I can adjust what I need. Another really cool feature that actually kind of benefits any player who enjoys Metroidvania games, and especially for areas of platforming that they just don't want to have to repeat, especially when you're having to jump or dodge your way across hazardous areas of the map, and that is the ability to turn on in the settings a portal that when you reach that section of the map, you can actually enter in that portal and it will skip you ahead past that section so that you can continue on throughout the map. This is great for if you don't have the motor or cognitive abilities to be able to get through the dangerous platforming sections of this game, but also if you just want to be able to go back to an area that you've been before and you don't want to have to go through these sections again, this portal really just comes in handy for that as well. It's a really neat thing that I hope that gets added into more Metroidvania games, and I appreciate that it's here. Ubisoft, another great job on this one. Where I think the game shines is actually its newest feature in the Metroidvania genre, which is huge for cognitive disabled players, but also, again, just for players in general. In a Metroidvania game, memorization is needed to identify areas you want to remember to get back to later when you have gained new abilities to unlock those areas, or just for a general point of interest you want to remember later on. Ubisoft has created a feature called a memory shard system, where if you want to remember an area you are in, if you hold down on the D-pad, the game takes a screenshot of what's on the screen and pins that screenshot to the map screen, so you can always reference it later. This is a really cool design concept and opens up the Metroidvania style gameplay to more people. I think this should be adopted, honestly, by other developers working on Metroidvanias in the future. This is one of those times when you design for accessibility and it can benefit everyone, not just disabled players. The ability to just be able to look at a map and see a screenshot and say, oh, that's why I remembered I wanted to go back there, is just enough of a visual indication to be like, yep, that's perfect. Now I know what I need to do. And it's just, I'm like, why didn't anyone think of this before? This is like almost like a no-brainer now. It's some really honestly cool stuff. Another additional cognitive accessibility feature that's worth a highlight, that some of the amulets you unlock or find can be used for accessibility, especially one you unlock at the beginning of the game that is called the Prosperity Bird, where a bird will fly with you and will chirp if a treasure or a hidden path is nearby. And if it's on the screen, the bird will fly to that spot for you. It does take up one amulet slot, so you have to pick and choose which amulets you need if you don't have enough slots, but it is still a cool idea that actually helped me out a ton, especially for hidden paths I would have missed if it wasn't for the bird chirping at me. It also kind of has some directional sort of assistance with that, so if it goes to left or right depending on where it sort of finds that little hidden path or treasure. There's also other smaller design details that help a ton. Like at one point you actually find a child named Faraba, and at a certain point she will show up in a, I don't want to spoil it, but a permanent safe area that you can actually actually go up to her and pay 50 shards to get a hint of where to go to next if you're stuck and not sure where to go. There's also anytime you are near what they call a whack tree, trust me, it makes sense in the game, where you can refresh your health and they act as also checkpoints. There is a subtle wind that shows the direction of where a whack tree is whenever it's nearby. And those whack trees are super important to find, because if you die, you will go back to the previous whack tree you visited. Again, little design stuff that just honestly, quote unquote, just makes sense. Overall, I am fully enjoying my time with Prince of Persia. There is an interesting story there fused with a more fantastical version of Persian history. The fact that Ubisoft has always been great with history and putting so much historical facts into their games, it's just a no-brainer that they would totally do that in a Prince of Persia title. But also, it being accessible, even with its missing areas of disability spectrums, is still a game I would definitely recommend for disabled players to give it a try. It is the first big game release of 2024, and I hope this shows a trend for more amazing accessibility in the coming year. I give Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown for accessibility a 3.5 out of 5. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button so I can make more videos. Also, if you want to financially support my work and get some fun content, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/SteveSaylor. I may have kind of secretly already started a podcast on there, so, make sure you sign up so you can be able to get it. Thanks again. See you in the next video. As always, I remain obediently yours. Bye-bye.